just drive some mornings. Like what is that? What is that?
32.
Why are we gassing it if we're just gonna hit the brakes again? You keep on throwing me like something's happening. Look at how gorgeous that is with a pair of Continentals on.
Where are you going, babe? Sorry. Fuck out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
You don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
A little bit. I keep those in there. It's so convenient.
The napkins, the tissues. I mean,
just the amount of times I just need one.
Imagine saying the right word when I want to say the right word. That'd be amazing.
I never do either. What pisses me off the most is when I'm like trying to talk to somebody and like say something important and the word is just gone.
Yeah.
And then instead of my like what I'm trying to say be the main thing becomes like what the word am I saying, and like then the whole point gets thrown out the window. Or
you misspeak like twice, 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
The same word.
The person doesn't even want to listen at that point.
At that point, I don't even want to listen to myself. It's like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Ooh, nice bat. That's a C5.
Name of it?
I think that's a C5. So a C5 Corvette. There's generations of Corvettes.
Oh, okay.
Like the most recent model of Corvette, the one that's kind of looks like a Ferrari almost, is the C8, and the one before that, it's a C7.
They got every number up to that,
C6.
like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yep.
6, 7, 8.
C1, C2,
Is it start
C3.
by generation, like the oldest of the ones?
Yeah, C1 is the first generation of Corvette.
It's not based on like the speed or the...
It's like the old school looking vet that like everybody knows the look of.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Jesus.
You're just trying to make a YouTube video.
Yeah. I don't know what the heck that was.
At least we got good brakes.
Yeah, we do. That wasn't even me slamming them.
I've done that before. You
like,
just assume you have a little more gap, man, or that they're not gonna stop it.
Yeah, I thought they were rolling still a little bit. I didn't think it was like a full stop.
Yeah. Have you seen that video when we go around a corner when the guy is like trying to show off his car to that girl?
Yeah.
And he doesn't gun it on the straightaway, he just guns it on the curve only. And
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Off a bridge.
It was very bizarre.
That's so stupid. And it was like raining too. It was like the perfect storm of
Like everything
bad
that
decisions.
could go wrong. Like every bad decision he could have made, like he did.
Yeah, all in one.
That's funny.
That woman probably never hung out with him again.
You know, the guy's aura went right through the fucking floor.
Even if she did, she just would no longer trust him. Like, feeliness is out the window. Like,
Your man has left the building, bro.
PTSD in the car with him.
It's over. Find yourself a new one.
He was like a dorky guy to begin with, so.
Oh, that grip is satisfying. It's so satisfying.
What is?
The fresh grip on the tires.
Yeah, it feels nice. I feel like you can trust your decisions more. Like,
Yeah. You can trust the car a bit more, you know, instead of having to, you know, be all cautious and shit. Why wouldn't you just get out from behind them if you wanted to go fast? Why are you just riding them? You could have easily just moved over and got past them if you really wanted. If you really wanted to.
What is that guy in the fast
The reason you're riding someone's ass is usually because you want to be around them, like get around them. Like you had every opportunity to do that.
You could have passed him, right? What are they not supposed to?
Like maybe he just wanted to be an asshole.
Maybe.
50-50 chance with people in trucks like that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
We'll always get rid of shit, not sure. Let's see. There's a guy, I'm surprised.
I can tell it's a guy.
And the...
Oh, I was talking about that truck.
I know you were, but the car in front of him was going slow in the fast lane, so I was curious what kind of person it was. Was that a bag taped over that window? What am I looking at?
Yeah, bag or tape or something. Not ideal.
It's like much darker than it should be.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal to have to look through. Probably sounds awful in there too.
Yeah.
Remember we ever had to put a bag over our back window?
Yeah.
It was just it takes over the whole ride.
I can't forget.
Because you're kind of hoping it stays in place.
But it doesn't.
Not only that, it's incredibly loud. It's an eyesore.
Yeah.
It looks treacherous. The struggle. Glad we don't
I saw a funny
struggle like that
fix for that. Like this guy, like some redneck engineering on a broken down car, you know?
Yeah.
He had a seatbelt and he put a bolt through the outside of the door,
Yeah.
you know, by the window.
Yeah.
And then he fed the belt underneath the window all the way and then into the inside. And then another little like thing here that it, you know. So
But what was it doing?
So he clipped, if the belt was clipped in, the window was up because it had all the slack pulled down to the floor.
Oh.
And if he undid it, it rolled the window down because like it lowered it from the inside.
Yeah.
It was funny. It worked. I mean,
Yeah, I gotta say the ingenuity is pretty clever, you know.
He's on the seatbelt, man.
Oh, for Christ's sakes! Let's drive some mornings. Like what is that? What is that?
32.
Why are we gassing it if we're just gonna hit the brakes again? You keep on throwing me like something's happening. It's just, oh God, people and their stupid driving.
Yeah, morning drives would be much easier if everybody just like drove right. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. If everybody just drove like they're supposed to.
Right. Proper lanes, proper speeds.
Oh my
I love getting out
God.
of this guy just so I can see better. Like just when this guy's driving.
This is the most
awkward.
irritating guy to be behind.
Can't see in front of him at all. This is like
Stupid fucking idiot truck driver. He can't even drive his own truck.
let's see if there's even a car like ran through him.
Yeah, there's a car in front of him. There's a line of cars in front of him. Where the hell's that guy gonna go?
Oh, that chick got hit.
Hmm?
Shines, shines.
Oh my God.
Just a red light.
The way this guy drives in front of me though is so annoying.
You don't like the speed up, speed down shit. Like, there's no steadiness to it. I think it's because he's trying to be aggressive, but there's nowhere to be. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to go. Like,
some people just don't know how to drive behind other cars. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's like the guy doesn't hover his foot over the brakes or like ease off the gas at all. It's
Yeah.
either gas or brakes.
none. Yeah,
Gas,
yeah.
brakes. There's like no like letting off or anything.
Yeah, no easing into anything.
Oh my God. Another
It's just
yellow
one of
now.
those days. We can't.
I was gonna use that little momentum there to slip in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure this guy's gonna be all Speedy Gonzalez, so.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Depending on the
Should be
car
able to
in
get
front
in.
of him.
And okay. Alright, we'll just get in front.
Of course, they're doing Where are you going, babe? Sorry. Dave wants to cut it up a little bit.
Fucking tired of everybody's antics this morning.
I thought you were,
Sorry, monkey.
Oh, it's fine. I actually, for a quick second, thought you were taking the New London way, so that's the only reason I said something. I wasn't, like, worried about you, kind of. Sometimes I'll instinctively take the wrong one just from, like, doing the routine drives that we do.
I had to make the video a little more interesting.
We went for the big cut.
That wasn't the original plan, but I said, you know what, fuck it. Live a little bit.
You know, that truck was like, oh, that's how I want to drive right now.
Right? I'm just chilling. I don't know what you guys are going on about. I'm just chilling, man. I don't know. I'm just vibing. I'm just vibing along.
Not hitting. I think it's dead. I got like a hit before, so worst case it'll be a hit. Of course, never dies, yeah.
I was even charging it before we left too.
Never dies.
I guess I just didn't get it charged enough, I guess. Yeah.
I think it'll stay charged for like 6 days.
It's got great battery life. And then you need to use it really quick for work real quick. Yeah. God. So obvious, you know. Universe, you're not even original anymore. You're not even original. Come up with something clever. Make a piano fall out of the sky or something, you know?
What's happening? Why is everyone stopping at green?
Right. What's going on? Stupid school buses probably up ahead.
The people stopping at green.
They should give school buses their own roads. Just give them secret roads that only buses go on. We don't need to deal with it.
It's either not here yet or it's dropped off early.
Perfect. It's a dump truck towing something. Interesting.
It looks like a kind of truck that does tree cleaning.
I imagine dump trucks have crazy good torque.
They had a wood chipper in the back. So. Yeah, you would think so, right?
They probably don't have like insane horsepower, but I bet you they have crazy good torque. Cup. Weird. Yeah, while I'm out and about, figure I'd grab some stuff. Grab some bird seed, because I'm a nerd who feeds the birds. Bird nerd. I don't know what happened. Sometime in my 30s, I suddenly decided I need to feed the birds like my mom used to. I used to make fun of my mom because she was always so on top of it. She was so adamant about making sure the birds were fed. They had their suet. They had like 2 different kinds of seed all the time. She was always changing the suets up. She was always making sure they were good. And you know, I was always just when I lived with her, I would laugh at her about it a little bit. You know, just kind of. Just, you know, you love those birds so much. I think the birds are like your second son, you know. And it just, I would always just, you know, we would get a laugh about it because she was so on top of it and into it. And now here I am years later doing the same stuff, and it just kind of cracks me up. We are our parents, whether we like to admit it or not. We become some part of our parents in some way or another, or a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one, but you see it at some point when you get older. You will always see it. You can't deny it. Unless, of course, you didn't ever know your parents or something. Anyways, I'm gonna go grab some stuff from Walmart. I'll be back. As I'm walking to my car, this beautiful Supra rolls up, and in my area you only get to see these cars on the internet, man. Look at how gorgeous that is with a pair of Continentals on. God, that is a pretty car. I don't care what anybody says. That car is impressive looking in person. If you don't get to see a lot of awesome looking cars all the time, man, that is one pretty car to look at, I tell ya. I gave him a big smile, and I gave him the when he pulled in, and he gave me a big thumbs up with a smile. He was cheesing. Car guys like it when you tell them how cool their car looks. I tell ya. You make a car guy's day, you know, showing them how much you like their car. Not in a creepy way, but just like, you know, give them a thumbs up or say like, wow dude, that's a gorgeous ride. You know, something like that, man. I've said that to so many car guys pulling up in a nice ride, and started a cool conversation just because of that, you know. Car guys love when you acknowledge they're a nice car, that's for sure. This highway is always all kinds of fun to get onto. Fucking crazy, dude. I can't believe it's still there. That needs to get fixed properly. They patch it and it just reopens up. They patch it, it reopens up. Third gear is my favorite gear in this car. Something I've come to notice the last couple years, and I'm not the only one, it's been said before, but the internet is making high horsepower cars seem like they're not high horsepower cars. Let me word it better. The internet is making it seem like cars with 5, 6, 7, even 800 horsepower cars, they try to make it seem like that isn't anything fast or special or anything to write home about. Dude, I'm in a 325 horsepower car, and this thing is ridiculous in itself. Just 325 horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque. Comparatively to a lot of other cars, yeah, that's not a lot. But then also comparatively to a lot of other cars, yeah, it is a lot. I mean, for me to be able to use all of this power, I immediately am breaking the law. There's no way around it. You can't open these cars up without breaking the law. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy to think that people on the internet are so deluded and just so freaking attention starved to the point where they completely just start saying nonsense like, you know, like a frickin' Z06 isn't fast, or an M4 isn't fast. I mean, Jesus Christ, what does it take for these people to be happy? I don't know, but it's definitely people that don't drive or don't have their license, never driven a nice car, clearly, because it don't make no sense. And that's all I gotta say about that. I'm not too articulate this morning, though. I'm a little tired today, so if that came out like a bunch of nonsense, my bad. My bad. That's my bad, yo. Oops. This guy's property right here, he's a multi-millionaire, and he owned or owns a store called Surplus Unlimited in Norwich, which is like a discount store, kind of like I don't know, like an Ocean State Job Lot, or I don't know, like a small kind of a Walmart almost, like a mini Walmart. Yeah, that guy did very well for himself. That store was super popular and did really well for many years. It might even still be up and running. I'm actually not entirely sure. I don't live in Norwich anymore, so I can't say for sure, but I can say that that guy's property is super nice. Holy crap, right? That's goals right there, man. These roads at night are like, well, these roads in general are really cool for like a spirited drive, but at night I kind of would prefer it only because there's a lot less chance of you know, a car randomly pulling out or something on you. But that's exactly why you're not supposed to do spirited driving on the roads in reality, because it so quickly goes from fine to not fine. And that's just how it goes, you know. unfortunately, not everybody has access to a track nearby, or even a decent track. Like the ones that are nearby here are just ovals. That is literally, that is not fun. That's just driving around an oval is not very fun. I'm sorry, it's just not. For me, anyway. It's also not fun to watch. That's why I've never really been into NASCAR. But yeah, so, you know, people that like to, you know, enjoy their cars and whatnot kind of have an interesting go of it, because you so easily break the law whenever you want to, you know, step on it a little bit. It's kind of the, you gotta really know your area and know when and when not to step on it.